speaking with us now is Layton Mills of CannPal Animal Therapeutics. Layton, great to meet you.
Thank you for having me, Danielle.
So it's a bit of a unique story. Tell me about the company CannPal Animal Therapeutics. Tell me about the team behind it.
So we're an animal health company. We were founded in 2016. We recently listed on the ASX in October last year. So a relatively new company, but the goal for the company is really to develop products that can address clear unmet needs in the animal health market, focusing on companion animals. We have a lead drug candidate that's currently in development, that's CPAT1, which we're developing as a pain control in dogs, which is really exciting. And we've just finished wrapping up our first phase 1A pharmacokinetic and safety study, which is a really exciting milestone for the company.
So Layton, terrific progress already in your short lifespan as a company, but we're going to need you to explain a little bit more about this environment that you're going to operate within. Tell us, what is a companion animal? What are the dynamics of the animal health industry? And do you have any peers in this space?
So we have a number of peers in the animal health space, mainly in the US. So there's not a really vibrant animal health market in Australia, but we're based in Australia, but really global focus. So we're looking at the European and the US market. None researching cannabinoids to the extent that we are, and we see it as a really good competitive advantage for us. No one's really taking the time to go through, do these well-researched, well-controlled clinical studies to prove the safety and the efficacy of cannabinoids in the animal species. And when we say animal, we talk about companion animals, as you pointed out, and that's cats, dogs and horses, but the focus for us really is cats and dogs. The really exciting thing about companion animals is there's this huge humanisation of pets trend. I think that the older we get, the more we prefer animals over children, particularly the way society's going. And that's evidenced by the fact that there's a consistent increase in expenditure in pets. So you might see a population growth in the US of 1 or 2%, but you're seeing an increase of expenditure at 5 or 6%. So there's this gap or this disparity between how many animals are actually, the population of animals and the expenditure. There's this huge difference, which is really showing us that we're spending so much more on our pets. And to add to that is the fact that I know in the US, over 65 to almost 69% of all pet foods now are natural. So we're seeing a lot of these trends where animals are living longer because they're eating better, humans are treating them better, but then they're getting age-related diseases like osteoarthritis, obesity, so they need more medicine. So there's a lot of really exciting key drivers that are underpinning the growth of the companion animal health market, and we're really excited about the lucrative potential.
Fantastic. And of course, this is an industry very much driven by the legislative environment, which is rapidly changing around the world.
Totally.
Can you tell us a bit about where you see laws going and how you're positioning yourself?
So the difference between the human and the animal space is in the human space, you've got these regulatory frameworks that have been established for humans, right? You can easily get access, well, I say easily, but almost easily get access to cannabis substances for patients, and there's access for doctors to be able to prescribe that based on these legislative frameworks. In the animal health space, we don't necessarily have that. They're very clear in legislation that animal health remains out of that framework, and as such, we're required to take our products through the full approval process to get them developed as regulatory approved medicines. So there's a number of differences, but they're competitive advantages for us.
And you have had some very good news out very recently with your flagship CPAT1 product. Can you tell us about the product, about the stage you've reached with the trialing of this and where you're going?
So CPAT1 is being developed as a pain control in dogs, and we recently just wrapped up phase 1A of our pharmacokinetic and safety study, which is a really exciting milestone for the company. Essentially what you're looking at with a pharmacokinetic and safety study is what's actually happening to the drug inside the body of the dog. What's the absorption look like, the metabolism, the excretion, what's actually happening internally, because then you can develop a drug that's going to be more efficacious and ultimately more safe. So again, the other side of that coin is we're looking at a really wide safety profile. Is the product safe in dogs when we give them our cannabinoid formulations, particularly the fact that we're using THC? It's really important to understand what that therapeutic window looks like and what the safety window looks like too. And that was a really successful study. We were really rapt about the safety profile that we witnessed. Super good absorption of our actives, so it was really exciting.
Very exciting, and it's not the only product in your pipeline. Can you tell us about the rest of the things you're developing?
While I often say to people that we're pharmaceutical focused and that we're developing products for pharmaceutical approval, we're also looking at an alternative strategy by researching cannabidiol, the less regulated compound coming from the cannabis plant. There's an opportunity for us to get that product out into the market as a dietary supplement or as a feed additive, and that's an early revenue generation strategy for us. So the lead nutraceutical candidate that we're researching at the moment is Dermacan, and that's to target canine skin health.
So you've mentioned there you're going to get some products to market quicker to generate some cash flows. And more broadly, can you tell us about your funding position and indeed what is your growth strategy?
Yeah, so at the moment we're very well capitalised. We have about $5.2 million in the bank, and that's enough to get us all the way through our phase 2 studies, which is the first major milestone for the company, is getting through our pilot studies, our pilot safety and our pilot efficacy, which is really exciting. And we've also got enough money in the bank to be able to explore other indications. The benefit to doing the research the way we are is we can leverage some of the research that we're doing in CPAT1 and leverage that towards some of the other indications, which is really exciting. It's also going to fund us through the development of Dermacan. We hope to have that market ready by 2019. And it'll leave some money in the bank to do some additional R&D.
You've mentioned some milestones and some things coming up there, but can you leave us off, please, with a nice bullet point summary? What are the next key news flows? What are those catalysts in the wider market that will be affecting your shareholders moving forward?
Well, definitely it's phase 1B of the pharmacokinetic and safety study. So we started with 8 dogs. I should say 8 active dogs and 3 controls, so 11 in total. The second phase of that is 48 dogs, so it's a much more comprehensive study. We're not just looking at pharmacokinetics and safety, we're also looking at dose ranging, which again is really exciting. We're looking at a number of different parameters in that study, and that's going to be our next major catalyst. Again, we hope to have Dermacan market ready by 2019. A really important part of that is getting our product onto stability and getting the stability testing done, which again is really important for the product. And also just a number of other collaborations that we're actively seeking with additional research partners.
Fantastic. Well, Layton, thank you very much for introducing us to this very unique company, telling us about your progress, and we do hope you'll come back and keep us updated.
Thanks so much, Danielle.